honestly, I don't really feel like doing an intro. I have one question. Like, why is Dan Quinn still coaching for the Atlanta? How is Bill O'Brien fired before Dan Quinn? I mean,
Did he fire himself?
Dude, that's what I'm trying to figure out, because I was live streaming earlier today and I was like, is it even technically possible for Bill O'Brien to get fired? Like, can he legally not be in the Houston Texans organization anymore? And then like an hour later, like Bill O'Brien gets fired. I'm like, damn, he must have fired himself.
He held a meeting with himself where he first promoted himself to offensive coordinator.
That's my dream job.
And then relinquished his powers as GM and head coach.
I'm trying to get fired from Big Dog so bad. I'm trying to become a big enough corporation where I could hire a CEO that could fire me. That'd be fucking lit. So if anyone out there has CEO qualifications, you know what's fantastic? Like anytime I talk about something like that, in terms of BDGE, I'll have like 92 college kids be like, yo, I could do that job for you. I really need emails. I need people reaching out to me, telling me if you're qualified for Big Dog's CEO. All right. And I want a resume full of things that you've done, qualifications. You're not allowed to be over the age of 21. You have to be younger than 21.
Fit in this description real well. I'm a lawyer. I'm an accountant.
But you need 25 years of experience. That's how it started off. All right. This is Bunk Bed Breakdowns podcast, hosted by Michael and Noah at FB God. At FB God. No, if you could change your Twitter name, what would it actually be? Have you ever thought of that?
I don't even know. Like, I think about changing it, but at the same time, I kind of like the asshole persona that comes with the name FB God. So I don't know.
How do you not have? Do you have? What's your background right now? Is it Justin Herbert yet or no?
No, it's still LT.
Honest question.
Let me see. I think it's just
LT.
It's LT.
And Keenan. You have Eckler in there, you fucking sandbagging son of a bitch. He's in the bike. All right. So one of you two needs to take the reins, or else I'm going to be going down this like deep hole for the rest of the episode.
All right. I mean,
let's hit the intro.
All right.
Sorry.
It was a brutal week.
I can't host these anymore. I can't do this. Go.
It was a brutal week. I mean, we already lost Barkley for the season. We've lost CMC for half the season, even though it clearly CMC doesn't matter because Mike Davis is the god, the fucking god.
Honestly, at this point, I'm gonna be starting both of them.
Dude, I remember last year when David Montgomery joined. I was not a fan at all of David Montgomery, and I was like, "This is fucking Mike Davis season." And turns out it was not Mike Davis season.
Mike Davis is going to be
season.
Mike Davis going to be the starting running back for Atlanta Falcons 2021 when we start our rebuild. Honestly, Adam Gates is probably going to be our head coach. I'll lose it. I'm not a Falcons fan. No. Whatever. Mike Davis, GOAT. C-Mac dead.
Yeah. C-Mac dead.
Barkley dead.
Nick Chubb
dead. Nick Chubb
dead.
Is anyone alive?
Nick Chubb dead, but Ernest Johnson is well and alive.
Very much alive.
The coldest to ever do it to earn.
Coldest to ever do it. The AAF rushing champ. All right. Have you guys looked at his profile? Do you know what he runs?
Yeah, it's not great. 4.85.
4.86. Elijah Holyfield's like, God damn, you're slow. All right. In all seriousness, Nick Chubb put on the IR. Kareem Hunt. Anyone who we got a bomb. We've got it. Okay.
It's a flag.
I just assume it's going to be a holding, like a deep defensive pass interference or a touchdown. These are the only two options when a bomb goes up against Falcons.
And your player's injured.
Our backup's probably better than our starter anyway, so it doesn't fucking matter. Okay. Chubb gone. Going to be on the IR.
Meniscus, 6 weeks.
6 weeks. Oh, really? It's up to 6 weeks, right?
Yeah, but the current projection is like 6 weeks. Basically.
Yeah, all the guys that went down this week, like C-Mac already said he's not going to be here this week. Chubb's definitely going to be on the longer side, 4 to 6 weeks. Eckler, I'd be surprised if he was back there before a month. I would say like 5 to 6 weeks is probably like the lightest side of it.
Yeah, grade 2 hamstring strain. So that shit, even when he comes back, I'm not feeling great.
I think it's going to be like very similar to C-Mac, where he's month is easily the lightest that we'll see on him. So we're in a pretty bad predicament right here. So Dearness Johnson is definitely not a guy I'm looking to run out and like grab on waiver wires for redraft, but he's going to be out there in all these dynasty leagues probably because I don't think anyone's rostering him. The question becomes like with Kareem Hunt, do they start using Kareem Hunt more like what Nick Chubb has been doing, where he's like the early down grinder? Because Kareem Hunt's been so fucking good just being the playmaker, right? The guy who's lining up in the slot a little bit, catching a lot of passes, also running the ball too. But does he take over the early down work for Nick Chubb? Does this offense start to go a little bit more pass heavy? Is Odell officially bike? Like, what are we doing here with Dearness Johnson? Does he become the pass catching back while Kareem Hunt starts being the grinder?
I doubt it. I mean, I think like this is one of those rare circumstances where like the backup might be worth more than the starter now that Nick Chubb has kind of gone down. Like Kareem Hunt was already scoring like a beast anyways. He's getting goal line work. He's getting receiving work. He didn't get any targets this game, or at least didn't get any catches this game. But I would expect him to continue getting some more catches going down. Like, I mean, they're still a super run heavy offense. Like I think they're like game neutral run percentage is like close to like 60%. So it's going to be up there going forward. I think just all it does is gives Kareem Hunt more carries on the front end, and he can handle the workload. So I expect him to be a full like 3-down back with some Dearness, DeSickis, Johnson getting mixed in there once in a while.
Yeah, the thing is, you could tell me Dearness Johnson had like a 45% college target share, and I'd believe you because I don't know a damn about this kid. The thing is, like, I do expect Kareem Hunt to take over the 3-down workhorse type of role. If that makes them more pass heavy, I'm not so sure. I know their schedule upcoming isn't going to be the greatest or for Baker Mayfield to be able to pass the ball. They're playing the Colts this week.
I almost feel like Hunt is a guy with his skill set who's kind of matchup proof because he's actually really good on every down. So whereas like Mike, you alluded to Nick Chubb probably being a worse fantasy option than Kareem Hunt, given if they relatively both had the backfield by themselves.
Yep.
Like, even going against Indy, I think they play Chicago soon, maybe, or I might be making that up.
After that.
Okay. So, yeah. Either way, like I wouldn't be afraid to play Hunt whatsoever, right?
Not at all. I think right now, honestly, for the weeks without Chubb, the only guys I'm starting ahead of him for sure are Alvin Kamara and Dalvin Cook and possibly Zeke, except they're kind of in there. So like I brought this up on the Market Watch Mondays, like he's kind of in that.
What
top
about
3,
Mike
top
Davis?
4. Oh, sorry, Mike Davis was already in his own tier, so
that was a given.
Yeah, that was a given. So
okay.
Gods don't get mixed with men, so he's already a given. But aside from in the mere mortal realm, he's kind of top 3, top 4 for me.
Okay, so we got Kareem Hunt absolutely shooting up. Dearness Johnson is a guy that I would throw some fab bucks on it if you were a Nick Chubb owner, but obviously he's not going to be a long-term problem because Nick Chubb's going to be back this year. Kareem Hunt's going to run shit down there in the Cleveland backfield. And like, we talked about it. They made these offensive line moves this offseason. Right now, they're grading out as like a top 3 O-line in basically every advanced metric website right now. So the plan that they had in place, it looked ugly after week 1 after getting their ass kicked by the Ravens, but they're looking fucking pristine right now. And that offense is clicking. They're doing exactly what they want, and they're fucking playing bully ball up front. Now, another guy I'm surprised you didn't mention in your you wouldn't start over is Josh Kelly. Now that Austin Eckler is dead.
We don't have to do this. I promise we don't have to talk about Josh Kelly.
Josh Kelly and Justin Jackson will take over that backfield there because Eckler pops his hamstring off the bone, and neither of these running backs look good.
No.
I'm really curious to see how they actually split this backfield because Jackson seems like he's probably going to take over Eckler's role in a sense, right? Be like an Eckler light. I think it's going to be like a 50-50 time split, maybe like 55-ish in favor of Kelly, and he'll probably get a little bit more of the valuable work. Like their matchups coming up are fucking juicy, and that's what hurts so bad with Eckler. He's going to have a lot of goal line opportunities, I think, coming up. That's assuming Anthony Lynn like doesn't do something outrageous and actually put Tyrod Taylor back into the starting lineup. That would be bad news all around. But Justin Jackson's a guy that definitely needs to be owned. Josh Kelly, I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts right now? Like, is there a certain guy you'd rather own going forward? I'm assuming it's got to be Josh Kelly here, but I think both of them need to be rostered.
Yeah, I mean, if
I were to
I
spend any sort of fab, I would probably rather go after Justin Jackson because he can be acquired for cheaper. And honestly, I just don't think Josh Kelly is that good. The thing that does concern me about Kelly, though, is that game against the Chiefs, he had like 27 touches. They wanted to rely on him very heavily, which obviously shows that the coaching staff likes him. But then last game, he had like 9 rushes for 7 yards, and he also fumbled, which then the Tampa Bay Buccaneers scored off of. They blew a huge lead. I was real sad about that. And Justin Jackson, throughout his entire time in the NFL, has basically been Austin Eckler light. He's been extremely efficient on the touches he was given. Last year, he played like 3 or 4 weeks, averaging like 7 yards a carry, just regular.
That's the tough part, though, because like they've shown so far that they do trust Josh Kelly, but I feel like the fact that they've hung on to Justin Jackson, like through all the injuries, having really bad draft capital, tells you that they probably like him a lot too. And I mean, we can't forget he missed most of the summer with an injury, got injured in week 1, didn't play weeks 2 and 3. So this first week coming back, where he still, shared the opportunities like 45% to Josh Kelly's like 55%, coming off of the multi-week injury, like you got to think that they're very ready to get him involved, right?
Yeah, and they played a good run defense, and he did just as bad as Josh Kelly. So I think he's ready to go out there next week. Whoever they play.
All relative.
I think they get New Orleans, which is going to be tough. So that's probably Josh Kelly's job to lose after that game. Then they get the Jets, Miami, Jacksonville, Las Vegas, and Denver all in a row, all of which stink against the run. I think Justin Jackson is going to make a push for that starting job because Josh Kelly he's not good at anything other than like running in a straight line. And with that offensive line, that's not going to work most of the time.
Yeah, I mean, before the season started, I actually thought like I preferred Justin Jackson over Joshua Kelly. Obviously, that was wrong because Justin Jackson, well, 1, he got hurt, but 2, like Joshua Kelly kind of stole the job. But like the more I watched Joshua Kelly, the more I'm just like, yeah, I was right. This guy's a jag. He's like the quintessential jag when he runs, but he has the opportunity, right? So if I had to choose between the two and they were the same cost, I would probably take Joshua Kelly because they're going to give him the opportunity. And if Anthony Lynn has shown anything with his retarded ass comments about how they lost the game and Justin Herbert lost the game, it goes to show that he's kind of going to do some stupid shit. So,
dude, what is his deal? Like, I like Anthony Lynn as a head coach, but like, why does he do shit like that?
Anthony Lynn is like us 5 months ago when Justin Herbert first got drafted.
Yeah. He fucking faded him in his rookie drafts, and now he can't get over it. A-Rod to Robert Tonyan, touchdown catch.
Are you serious?
Tonyan's becoming a thing, huh? Yeah.
Damn it. I'm going up against Robert Tonyan in the league. That's bad.
Ouch.
Sad times.
That's a shitty dagger right there. Like, oh, this guy's fucking starting Robert Tonyan. Like, no way he puts up more than 4 points. I'm pretty sure he has like 13 already.
Yeah, he has 13. GG.
Let's talk about Robert Tonyan. What do you know about Robert Tonyan? 'Cause I don't know.
He's athletic. He's athletic, and he's better than Jay Sternberg. That's all I know about him.
Jay Sternberger name went to die real quick, huh? I was told he was going to be the wide receiver too in this offense this year.
Fucking stinks.
They drafted Josiah DeGuara too to block and do nothing else. So Robert Tonyan.
Oh yeah, Robert Tonyan's got some fucking mountains on his player profile.
Yeah. He's always been pretty athletic. I actually have a shocking amount of Robert Tonyan that I picked up.
I have literally zero. I just feel like he was one of those guys where in the summer, like, people just name all 5 tight ends on the Packers and like, I like this guy. I like this guy. I like this guy. And I'm just like, I don't know who Robert Tonyan is. Yeah. I don't know who I am anymore.
It's like ashes go to ashes. Like Jake Kummerow died for Robert Tonyan to like explode.
Exactly. Like that's how it is. And there's always like 10 of those same guys on the Packers roster. And I never know what the fuck is going on. Okay.
Like, I think you brought up Jags running backs when you were talking about Joshua Kelly. How about James Robinson, our boy, just continuing to prove us right? Another 100-yard game. Their offensive line actually doesn't look terrible. And despite getting blown out by the Cincinnati fucking Bengals, he had 21 touches on the game. Honestly, I don't think it's crazy to say he's a top 10 running back going forward. And for Dynasty, I think I moved him inside my top 24 just because the coach loves him. And this offense, although it's not clicking, he's doing everything that they need him to do to be able to produce. And he's basically Leonard Fournette if Leonard Fournette could score touchdowns from last season.
Oh, he's well inside my top 24. I kind of moved him up there. He's like, I think I have him at like maybe the 6th or 5th round or something like that. I definitely have him ahead of David Montgomery. I have him ahead of a lot of those like low end RB2s. I would say like, man, he's by far to me a someone who does not understand film at all. Just watching him, he is by far the best performing running back so far, ahead of CH, ahead of fucking Trent Richardson, ahead of Cam Akers.
Antonio Gibson's look good too.
Yeah, Antonio Gibson's look good, but Antonio Gibson hasn't looked that great on the ground. Like J-Rob has looked good on the ground and through the air. The coaches keep saying they're going to rely on him. They keep relying on him. And, you know, I tweeted this out earlier, but I was like, dude, like this guy had 21 touches in a blowout, had 17 touches in a blowout. He's been producing with every opportunity he's given. The coaches are all in on him. Like, if you're not in on him now, like, what the fuck are you waiting for? And, like, I get some responses. Some guys are like, a contract. It's like, dude, first of all,
he has like drafted or didn't
first
get
of all,
drafted.
You know what it is? It's like the same dudes who start fading James Robinson are the same dudes who like hold on hope with T.Y. Hilton for like 3 weeks too long and A.J. Green. Like all the people that just you can't move slow in fantasy, man. Like if you see it there, it's there. It's like Mike did a great Market Watch Monday last week, I think it was, talking about like James Robinson, talking about how like you can say all the preface factors you want about how this guy's not going to succeed, but as soon as he does something else, then you need to put him into a pool with players who are amongst that same statistical like category. And then you need to go, okay, how many of these guys succeed? You know, once you come in and do this in an NFL game, like that's where it starts to become a thing. And like we know this much about James Robinson. We're like, oh, is Devino Zigbo like? I feel like he's on a 10-week IR. Are we sure he's coming back? Like we just
I don't think so. Same with Raquel Armstead. He hasn't seen the field in so long.
Both of them have been out since like July. Like, are we like what are they doing over there? I don't understand. So this is nonsense. James Robinson's a fucking king right now. Joe Mixon's coming off his fucking. I went on a fucking parade tour around, absolutely shitting all over Mixon. But this is exactly what I said. I was like, listen, he's going to pop off for a huge game, and then everyone's going to go nuts about it. The reality of the situation is he looked great on Sunday, obviously, got a lot of the passing work, but he's 1 for 4 in good games. So right now, we're going to learn a lot about who Mixon is over the next 2 weeks because he gets Indy and he gets Baltimore, right? So when they're not in game scripts where they're dominating the game and they don't need that's where I think maybe we'll learn a little bit more because this was not a game which they needed 2 and 4 minute drills, right? They didn't need to hurry up in those times. And that's usually where Gio comes in and gets that pass catching work. In games where they're just like very much, you know, normal, neutral, tie game and shit like that, like Mixon doesn't need to come off the field because they're not running at a very fast pace. So I'm really interested to see how the next couple weeks play out for Mixon.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about Mixon is like I kind of said this on the Market Watch Mondays, but like if he had gone out and had like 30 totes on the ground, like even if he had like 180 yards and 4 touchdowns, I'd be out there selling him right now immediately, right? But the fact that he did get involved in the passing game, the fact that he did get 6 targets, 6 catches, the way he got the points was a little bit more impressive for me. But I think you brought up a good point. Is like once you get into the 2 minute drills, is he still out there? So that's going to be something I'm monitoring. So I don't think he's a buy or anything like that. But I'm also not selling.
Yeah, you don't sell him just to sell him right now. You know, you kind of see what you have here, and then you kind of also in this landscape, like who has the luxury of selling someone who's getting 25 touches? Like every running back is just like dead.
Yeah, exactly.
Like would you guys rather have rest of the season, Joe Mixon or James Robinson?
James Robinson.
I think I would take Robinson too. I was thinking about this while I was talking about it in the video today. It's just I really like, I mean, we all really like James Robinson at this point. It's just his role is so solidified, and it seems like no matter what their game script is, it's James Robinson. And I think we're still yet to see that with Joe Mixon. It was a good step in the right direction, but like, do you really have trust that he's going to continue to be like the sole pass catching back there? Like, no one's going to be surprised if Gio catches 5 passes next week, right? Like, might not happen, but when it does happen, I don't know if there's any room for surprise there.
Yeah, like 2 weeks ago, I think he had 4 catches. Last week, he had nothing. This week, he had 5 on 6 targets. Like, you never really know what you're going to get out of him. And the fact that they're going up against 2 tough opponents, and their team, although they blew out the Jaguars, they're not good. They're not going to be in many situations where they're playing from ahead. Although he's going to get like 20 to 25 touches a game, I'm not sure they're going to be nearly as valuable as they were this past Sunday.
The other thing, too, is like, even with, like you said, like Joe Mixon has had games already this year where he's caught like 4 or 5 balls, but they're always like behind the line of scrimmage, like nothing there, right? Like there are teams who use their running backs like as actual weapons and receivers, not just like dump offs. Like they run wheel routes, they run from the slot, they run out wide. And like, those are the kind of targets and receptions I want to see for a running back to make me feel good about it. Like, you know, like fucking Rojo catches 6 balls for like 17 yards this weekend. Like that's great that you get 6 receptions, 9 targets. But when you turn that into like 2 yards per reception, I mean, are you really like the pass catching back, you know?
Yeah, definitely. I don't trust him yet, but I am intrigued enough to kind of hold and not rush to the sell high. But yeah, that's interesting. I mean, Joe Burrow, real deal, right? Real deal.
Bro,
this guy looks good.
I was pulling some baseball or some football cards.
You got a Burrow card?
Signed Herbert.
To get into the card game. Yeah, everyone's fucking getting me into it, and I got people DMing me telling me I could literally make $1 million off my YouTube following via cars and shit. I pulled a couple Burrow rookies. Apparently this is worth like $300 to $500 if I grade it out. And I'm just like, I don't really know any of this shit, but everyone's like,
grade it out. What do you mean grade it out?
You send it up to these companies like PSA, and they grade them. So they tell you the condition of the card from like 1 to 10. If it's in like 10, it's like gem mint. And the higher the grade, obviously the better condition. I pulled it. You know who this fucking guy is? I don't know who this is. It was his signature. Kamal Martin. No, it's a college card. Linebacker from Minnesota. Come on, Martin. Not that any of you fuckers know linebackers in college. Pulling a bunch of rookie QBs. I'm pumped up about it. Sorry, go on about Joe Burrow.
Yeah,
Joe
Burrow.
Card King, baby.
Joe Burrow looks like the real deal. Where'd you order those from? Amazon?
Yeah, I got a box from Amazon. I'm gonna keep ordering them. I think they're so fun to just like pull out on camera. Everyone keep like, get your greasy fingers off the fucking cards.
Dude, I was thinking about ordering some too, not to do on YouTube, but just to have because I like collecting cards.
You should do it on like in the beginning of one of your videos. Dude, it's really fun to watch. They call them box breaking. You open up boxes and you like pull the cards one by one, and people go nuts over them.
Oh shit! All right, I'll do that on the next Market Watch Monday.
Like we're changing the channel direction. We're just a box opening channel.
Like I might do that. People keep telling me we can make so much money doing it. I was like,
what brand you get?
See, I don't know too much about it. I know like Panini is like the time. Someone in the comment section will probably give us like we have it actually, Mike, in Discord. We opened up a sports card channel. So
all right, cool.
There, you can figure that out.
All right, cool. Yeah, I mean, Joe Burrow looks like the fucking real deal. I mean, he is gonna be. I mean, he's already like my dynasty, like top end dynasty QB after like that elite tier. He might jump into that elite tier after this season, but he's been incredible. I mean, that offense looks good, man. That offense is good. He's got Tyler Boyd. He's got that gelling with him. T. Higgins stepped up again. AJ Green ghosted again. And then we obviously got Joe Mixon on the ground. Their O-line still stinks, but, Jonah Williams kind of stepping up, playing a little bit. I'm hopeful for this offense as long as, like, Zach Taylor starts putting together some fucking, like, proper play calling and stop calling, like, dust plays. They got a long way to go. I mean, Joe Burrow's going to lead that team, man.
The only thing keeping me from not hating T. Higgins is me thinking that every time he catches the ball, it's Chad Ochocinco reborn. I've been seeing 85 for Cincinnati. Just makes me feel good. And he's looked really good these past 2 weeks. He's basically Wally pipped AJ Green because AJ Green is seeing like 8 targets a game and turning that into 20 yards. Higgins got a rush yesterday. He had like a 13-yard rush. He's been using the red zone. He's being used deep down the field. And him and Burrow seem to have a really good connection in their first year together.
AJ Green looking like the Joshua Kelly of wide receivers right now.
Yeah, or the Rojo. There's a lot of running backs who just catch the ball and fucking immediately die on contact. Embarrassing. Burrow, yeah, I mean, Burrow's looks so fucking good, man. Like, and I feel like we almost got spoiled with how good Burrow was last year at LSU. That like, if he did anything below what he's doing right now, everyone would be like, "What the fuck?" Like everyone's kind of expected a year like this, and he has like far surpassed what we should have expected for him. But he's looked absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. Speaking of good quarterbacks, I mean, Justin Herbert, the god, went toe-to-toe with the GOAT. He put up some ridiculous numbers.
What do you do when you have a god versus a GOAT? What happens?
But yeah, he's been incredible, man. He's putting up
that's about it.
What do you do? Like 300 yards. 290 yards so close. But like basically 300 yards in all 3 of his starts. Put up 3 touchdowns, threw a pick. I actually bet on the Chargers plus 7.5, so won that spread. That was money. But he's been good, man. I mean, and then I was looking today. I'm probably going to be picking him up on a lot of my waivers as a streamer because his schedule coming up is juicy as fuck for passing, right? Like he's got coming up against the Saints, against a very depleted secondary, which Matt Stafford lit up, and then you got the Jets, which you can fucking march Brett Rypien out there. You can probably march Justin Herbert out there. He's got the Miami Dolphins. He's got the Jaguars, who fucking stink on
Rypien fucking stunk, bro. He got me like 11 points. I wouldn't push it that far. Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, it depends what type of league scoring you're playing in. But if you're playing like a standard like 6-1 league, Rypien got you enough points to get by. But yeah, he's got the Dolphins, he's got the Jaguars, he's got the Raiders, and he's got the Broncos. So like, you can ride Herbert the God for the next few weeks. I mean, I'm moving him up in my dynasty rankings as well. Like he looks hella good. I prefer him over Daniel Jones today.
Oh yeah, I moved Herbert up to. He's 15 right now for me, and I probably could move him higher. I have him above Wentz, Daniel Jones, Aaron Rodgers, Stafford, and the rest of those guys. But he's right. He's one behind like Matt Ryan, Baker Mayfield, Jared Goff, that tier of guys. He's looked good enough that like at this point in the rookie season, this is how young he is. Like the ceiling is there to get to like a very high tier in fantasy that I think, you have to average that out between what he could end up being and, the ceiling that he has presented thus far.
I also think his rushing upside might come into play a little bit more with Austin Eckler out. They don't have a trusted receiver out of the backfield. I know Joshua Kelly kind of has hands, and so does Justin Jackson. But if they don't want to trust them out of the backfield, we know Herbert is surprisingly quick. I think he ran like a 4.6 or 4.7. He's a big dude. big, strong runner like a Blake Bortles type. I think that he's going to be unlocked a little bit because I don't even think he's top 20 yards rushing in any of his games thus far. He did find the end zone early on, but if he can add that to his repertoire at this point, the way he's throwing the ball too deep down the field to our boy Jalen Guyton, who fucking buried Mike in the fillet league.
Can't believe you fucking started him against me, dude. What the fuck?
I got a text
actually
from
realized
Yannick 1 second after he scored. He wrote, Guyton, you're welcome.
I have Guyton. I kept Guyton in the one league, Mike, that you and me are playing against each other. I didn't start him, obviously, because you kicked my ass. But
Yeah, I fucking stopped you in that league anyways.
Send trades. Send trade.
Beetle send trades.
Send trade for Guyton.
But yeah, I mean, Justin Herbert's look good. Keenan Allen with Eckler out, I expect him to get more targets. Sneakily though, freaking Henry Goose has been pretty fucking good. He didn't do that great this game, but he's been pretty stable and he hasn't scored any TDs, but he's looked good. Justin Herbert's relied on him a lot. So in your tight end premium leagues, he was going in like the double-digit rounds, so huge value. And if TD reversion comes his way, he could be looking up for some big weeks. Yeah, that kind of wraps the Chargers, but I mean, on the Bucs side, we already mentioned it. Rojo has the lead job on the ground, put up 100 rushing, looked like fucking Jordan Howard in the passing game, so don't expect him to retain that role for too long. But
Let's talk about this backfield, though. Let's talk about the backfield because Keyshawn Vaughn comes in at the end, catches the 10-yard touchdown after Rojo just like continuously drops passes. And it seems like, I mean, LaShawn McCoy got hurt, so that put Vaughn on the field. And Vaughn was obviously someone who got super hyped up in the offseason. I'm assuming, actually, they play Thursday night, so there's a real possibility. I think Dr. Morse put out, like, he doesn't expect Evans, Godwin, or Shady to play on Thursday night. So they're going to be a super depleted offense. And this could open up some holes for Vaughn or Fournette. I still don't know, like, if there's ever going to be a point in the season where you're comfortable starting any of them outside of like a Fournette sitting, like Rojo's a decent start.
I think if there's ever a time like to sell one of them and you can sell them, I think that you should, because there's never going to be a chance where you feel comfortable starting any one of these guys. They do have a really, really easy schedule coming up. After Chicago, they get Green Bay, Las Vegas, the Giants, the Saints, who are kind of tough, Carolina. So you might want to hold on to hope that Ronald Jones is going to be good. But we've seen this happen before. Ronald Jones has a good game, then they play him 30% of the snaps. Leonard Fournette scores 2 touchdowns somehow. Now Keyshawn Vaughn is in the mix where they spent pretty good draft capital on. He caught that touchdown. I don't know. I just feel like the mistakes that Ronald Jones makes, whether it be like blocking mistakes or dropping passes, is enough for both Tom Brady and Bruce Arians to tell him to sit down, and any given week he can just put up a dud for you.
Yeah, we got to trade him. We got to unload him in BBB Listener League.
We got a first for Stafford and him. That's all right.
Yeah, so that was good. Yeah, I mean, I agree with you. But Tom Brady, man, looks fucking good. I mean, I don't know how many lessons need to be taught about doubting the GOAT, but people just keep doing it and talking about his noodle arm. He dropped a dime in a bucket to O.J. Howard, who unfortunately hit the fucking IR. So rest in peace to that guy. But Tom Brady looked good, so that bodes well for the pass catchers. Hopefully Mike Evans is healthy, because I have an abnormal amount of Mike Evans across the leagues, so I need him as a wide receiver one. But overall, that offense looks pretty good, looks to be gelling. So going to be some fantasy points coming out of there. On the flip side, the Eagles fucking stink. I mean, Carson Wentz just looks bad. I tweeted out, I said he's 2018 Josh Allen, because that's basically what you're getting now is you're getting some Russian production on the ground, but this guy is not passing it. I mean, granted, he has no weapons. Lane Johnson's out. Jason Peters out. I mean, his wide receiver one's Greg Ward. Zach Ertz fucking stinks.
Honestly,
Zach Ertz had a Kalen Balaj rushing line for receiving.
Dude, I was about to say Ertz actually might respectively look as worse than Wentz does at his own position. Like Ertz looks just as bad as Wentz. Wentz is throwing fucking ducks up there. Like he threw one to John Hightower on the sideline. That was like it was like a knuckleball. I'm like, Wentz, are you a fucking professional quarterback? What are we doing over here? And you could see they're starting to get Jalen Hurts a little bit more involved. You know, all rushing, obviously, but that's how it starts. He's a gateway drug right now. The Hurts rushing is a gateway drug to get him on the field. I still don't really think it happens, to be honest with you, just because it's like there's nothing for Wentz to really work with, but he has looked awful. And at this point, it's just like we can't keep making excuses for it. And it hurts a lot as someone who really, really like Miles Sanders.
Yeah. What are we doing with Miles Sanders, man? Like I'm hurting to Miles Sanders. I'm considering like benching him in some of these matchups because that team fucking stinks. And Wentz can't throw a dump off pass to save his life.
That's the shitty part, man, is like he'd put up fine numbers. Like even watching the game, Sanders was easily the bright spot on that offense. Like he looked a lot better than his box score ended up presenting, and he could add another 20, 30 receiving yards if Wentz can just fucking hit him on a throw. But yeah, it's becoming becoming a little bit worrisome. I just, again, in this landscape, like, I doubt you have good enough options to bench a guy like Miles Sanders. So I'll probably keep riding him. I think the goods will. I don't know. I can't even sit here and say that they're eventually going to come, but I'm just going to shut my mouth and start Miles Sanders and hope for the best.
Yeah, at least their schedule lightens up these next 2 weeks. They play Pittsburgh and Baltimore, so we should expect a pretty big game out of him. I think if you can buy him in Dynasty, though, now is the time. For as long as I can remember, the Eagles have had a good offensive line. I feel like they like to build from the inside out, and this is kind of an anomaly year. I know last year they were top 5 or maybe even like the best run blocking line in the NFL. Miles Sanders during the second half of the year looked really good out there. I think if you can buy him cheap now just because of how bad the surrounding pieces look, that'll hopefully replenish next season when people get healthy. It's maybe the cheapest you can get Miles Sanders because towards the end of the offseason, he was going late first round, early second round of dynasty startups.
Yeah. The only issue is like this Eagles offensive line might be dust for a while because they're they put the pieces together to have these old guys come back, and all of them either got hurt or underperformed. And like their first round pick from 2 years ago, Dillard, right? Like he has wildly underperformed and gotten hurt as well. Like it could be a long rebuild process for the O-line, which could put them back a few years. So I'm a little bit nervous overall about the prospects of the offense being good, but they are the number one team in the NFC. So I'm not gonna doubt the champions.
Yeah. Speaking of the NFC, man, fucking Cowboys defense put up one of the most embarrassing performances I have ever seen. But on the flip side of that, we got Dak Prescott thrown for 500 yards. Garbage time king Dak Prescott. What that means is all of the receivers are benefiting from it. And, as much as people
not all of them.
Sorry. CeeDee Lamb and Amari Cooper are
Cedric
benefiting.
Wilson and Dalton Schultz and Ezekiel.
Yeah.
Just Michael Gallup.
Everyone except Michael Gallup is benefiting from this. But, people love to hate on Amari Cooper. He has been an absolute fucking stud, okay? 14 targets, 9 targets, 12 targets, 16 targets. This guy has freaking 51 targets through 4 weeks. Boom bust narrative, first of all, I don't care about boom bust anyways, but what he's showing in the ceiling, like, is Amari Cooper a top 10, top 8 dynasty wide receiver with Dak at the helm and this Cowboys defense stinking like they do?
Yeah. I'm looking at my rankings right now, and I have him at 11. I know I moved him up when we redid them, and I think I could probably move him up a little more. Right above him, I have from 6 through 11. I have DK at 6, CD at 7, Ridley at 8, AJ Brown 9, DJ Moore 10, Amari's 11, and I think I'm probably ready to put Cooper above DJ Moore right now.
Yeah, I feel like this year he's like the Dalvin Cook of this year because Dalvin Cook this year has been awesome and nobody's really talking about him because Minnesota sucks. Amari Cooper hasn't really found the end zone much. I think he only has 1 touchdown in the year. But he's quietly on pace for over 200 targets. As Mike was saying, he's being targeted a shit ton, 148 receptions. I know that's probably not likely to keep up, but the way that this Dallas defense is looking and for how often and how much they want to throw the ball, I don't think it's unreasonable that they have 2 1,200, 1,300 yard receivers in Amari Cooper and CeeDee Lamb this year. And Mike, I know you're a big proponent of not selling CeeDee Lamb for anything in Dynasty. And just seeing what this kid could do, I'm starting to go onto your narrative because I don't know. This defense can't stop anybody, and he just seems to have overtaken Michael Gallup in like the first week, and now he's just a huge part of this offense. He's seeing multiple targets a game. He's on pace for 84 receptions, 1,200 yards, and 8 touchdowns. He looks like what A.J. Brown looked like last year, except on a high-volume offense. So he's somebody that I'm definitely not trying to sell unless you can get like a Tyreek Hill for him.
Dude, this team is averaging almost 80 plays a game. It's insane. Like their pace, I was looking at the pace. They are the fastest paced team in the NFL. The next closest team is 4 seconds per play behind them. Like it's not even close here, and it's just going to keep translating to these insane fantasy points. And Cooper right now is the wide receiver 2 in PPR leagues in fantasy. So despite not scoring any touchdowns, like his worst game is his week 2 game against Atlanta, which was 6 for 100. Like when that's your worst game, you're balling the fuck out. So Cooper is having a monster year. I mean, everyone on that Cowboys offense is it's going over to Zeke now too. He's on pace for over like 90 catches this year. And if you told me in the preseason that Zeke was going to catch 80 to 90 passes, I would probably have said, I'm cool taking him over maybe even C-Mac, like maybe at the 101. Obviously, looking back, like Kamara one. The other guy's injured and shit. But like process wise, Zeke is balling. He's just not getting as much work on the ground and not scoring as much. But like this is more than making up for it.
Onion just scored another touchdown. This is
Did he?
the new George Kittle. Yeah.
Hell yeah. There was a dude in the GOAT chat of Patreon. Shout out to let me grab his name real quick. He asked me, he was like, Mo Alley Cox or Robert Tonyan. And I was like, I'd play Robert Tonyan. And Mo Alley Cox, like the 1 o'clock games go on, and within 5 seconds, Mo Alley Cox scores a touchdown. I was like, my bad, dude. And now Robert Tonyan's fucking balling. So
Yeah.
feels pretty good. So we have, what else do we have to talk about? Anything?
George Kittle's back.
George
I went up
Kittle.
against him in a super tight end premium where you get like tight ends get points per target, tight ends get extra bonus for yards. He put up fucking 70 points on me.
What? 70?
Yeah, 70
Fuck
points.
that. He single-handedly basically he won me the What It Do league that we had in because he dropped a 50 for me, and then Scott Fishbowl he dropped another 50 for me. So Kittle was just sometimes you forget how good. Like after drafting Kittle, I was like, damn, like I'm so regretting drafting a tight end in the second round, and then he comes out with a week like this, and you watch him, and it's just like takes 7 guys to tackle him. It's like it's an auto 7 tackle breaker. I'm like, holy shit! Like this is why I drafted this dude. Holy.
He's so good, man.
Mike, I know
He's
you're
so
a huge fan of Mark Andrews. Is the gap between him and George Kittle just widening as the year goes on? You start to see how low of a pass volume offense Baltimore is and just how inconsistent he's been this year?
Yeah, but I mean, I've always had Kittle in his own tier. Like no one has been in Kittle's tier for a long time. If Kelsey was the same age, he'd be in the same tier. But dynasty wise, like Kittle's always been in the same tier. I will say, yeah, I agree with you. Like Andrews definitely still remains to be TD dependent. But contrary to the regression drone's beliefs, he's still able to score touchdowns somehow. I don't know how it's how.
Him and Aaron Jones. I don't know what's up with those guys. They must be like good at football or something.
Yeah, it's like they might be good at football. Their teams might be good. They might be part of good offenses. I don't know what's happening. It's magic, but it's happening. But yeah, he's definitely a lower volume than that. But yeah, it's Kittle, man. Kittle is a god. Kittle is a god amongst mortals. And if he ever he got a touchdown this game, but he's always had historically like pretty bad like TD luck. If he ever manages to click on like a TD one season, like it's not even going to be like close what he does versus what someone else does.
Yeah, that'd be a lot of fun to have a season where Kittle pops off like 15 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Like I said, if he clicks for a touchdown, like you just want one out of him. That's all you need.
Yeah. But yeah, so that's a good one. What else do we need to talk about this week? The New York Giants. I mean, I tweeted about this earlier, but like starting, I think you guys should do this too. Like when I was redoing my ranks, when I saw some guy that I did not want to roster, I just straight up deleted him out of the ranks. I was like, you're out. All right, Devonta Freeman, you're out. Like Deion Lewis, you're out. There's no point ranking.
Daniel Jones, you're gone.
Yeah, Daniel Jones, you're gone. There's no point ranking these fucking scrubs and like worrying about the bottom of the bottom of the ranks. There's no one fucking listen. If you're using my ranks to tell you who to pick between pick 220 and 250, it's already over for you. It's already over for you.
Yeah,
I mean, it's
over before it started.
It's already over for you. Okay, you should. I like to spend my time in the top of the ranks, the top 100. That's where I'm going to focus going forward. And I'm just gonna stop ranking all these like shitty players. And if someone pops off on the waiver, I'll add them on then. But New York Giants, man, that entire backfield, that entire offense.
Freeman admittedly didn't look terrible, and I'm not surprised we got some games like this from him because he's gonna catch some passes there. But like, I think it's only a matter of time before he fucking dies on the field. Like, I really think he's just gonna get his knees taken out and he's gonna pass away on MetLife Stadium.
But like,
You're so blunt with that. It's just a matter of time before he fucking dies on the field. I guess
offense,
what we've seen recently, it's not uncommon.
Yeah, that offense looks. I mean, it looks really putrid. I mean, granted, Freeman got a couple catches that
How about
really
that?
saved his day.
How about that fucking throwdown between Tate and Ramsey? Yeah.
Oh yeah, dude, I did not know that.
The whole backstory?
Ramsey fathered Tate's sisters like children.
Literally.
Like that.
I think it was. I think it might be the flip of that. I think Tate might have.
Sister.
I think Tate was with Jalen Ramsey's sister, had kids with her, and then he didn't like how they ended up breaking up, and he didn't like how the relationship ended. Apparently, it was like a very public thing, the breakup, but I had no idea about this, and obviously, fucking.
No. Ramsey left Tate's sister.
Ramsey left Tate's sister.
Yeah, that's the one that makes sense. It makes no sense. Like,
I was gonna say
Ramsey. Yeah.
Oh, okay. That does make a lot more sense because Ramsey's such a fuckboy. Like he would be real ignorant like that. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
Ramsey comes out, and I don't know, how is Ramsey going to have so much hate for Tate when Ramsey's the one who does that? Like, why is he coming out here trying to spear people? Like,
That's like so sad because usually like the underdog wins in those fights, and then you see Golden Tate get pile drived into the ground like 6 feet deep. It's like you just can't feel good about him. He's getting his ass blown out. He's on the Giants every single week, and now the guy who is upset or he was upset with just beat his ass. Like it can't be much to be happy about if you're Golden Tate.
how about the Giants giving Golden Tate, who's like 31 years old, a $40 million contract? Like,
Yeah.
David Gettleman, like,
Well,
what are you-
aspirations. Joe Judge, Coach of the Year.
Joe Judge, he's actually on pace for the worst start from a head coach of all time, 0-4. It's on pace for an 0-16 season. I would love that. I would.
I'm sure Hugh Jackson's is close there.
Yeah.
Listen, Bill O'Brien. He's gone, baby. I was so excited to see Twitter after Bill O'Brien got fired. I think Twitter. Bill O'Brien Twitter is a good Twitter. It's one of the few good ones out there. It's fun.
So is he the OC now? Because I saw that he was gonna be calling all the plays, and like 2 minutes later, he said he got fired. So I don't know like what's going on there.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. Yeah, no, he's
I think he's gone.
He gone.
Yeah,
He's going to be in. You know what? I saw a report that they were actually going to look into Adam Gase if he got fired. I don't know if it was a joke or not, but wouldn't put it past him. Romeo Crennel's taking over. I have no idea what that means for the offense. Well, Romeo Crennel's like 72, so I'm assuming it's probably not a good thing for the Houston Texans offense. They were already running the lowest percentage of play action plays. Deshaun Watson leads the NFL in sacks right now. Like, I don't think this is going to be a quick cleanup. Like, getting Bill O'Brien out, sure, it's good for the future, but they don't really have a future right now because they don't have their first-round pick. They don't have their second-round pick. And they could really use a guy like DeAndre Hopkins right now.
Yeah, but David Johnson looked really good in the first quarter of the season. We were wrong about him.
So wrong, bro. I love that. That's going to be my entire summer. Is just yelling about David Johnson, Le'Veon Bell, and Todd Gurley.
What do you guys think about? I mean, you know, we were praising Sean McVay, we're praising the Rams offense, we're praising the Rams O-line, we're praising Darrell Henderson, who had some monster back-to-back weeks. And this week comes up against a trash opponent at home, and Darrell Henderson retires. What the fuck happened there?
Here's what I think. I think Sean McVay, they started playing against the Giants, and they're like, there's no way the Giants are going to beat us. You know how, like, some teams, like, win the game, they take the game from you, or you could, like, lose the game? I feel like he was just like, as long as we don't lose the game, as long as we don't do like risky shit and try to throw the ball deep and turn the ball over, like there's no way we're losing to the Giants. So he probably felt like Malcolm Brown was a safer back to put out there. But Jared Goff attempted like one pass more than 20 yards down the field in the whole game. So I'm not even fucking joking. This is really the way I feel like.
It went for like a 50-yard touchdown to Cooper Kupp. So
yeah, but it was like a 15-yard slant. Like it wasn't really like a deep pass or anything like that. So I feel like he trusts Malcolm Brown just to not fuck up, right? Like Malcolm Brown is not a good running back, but he'll get 4 yards and not fumble the ball. So as long as they could like control the clock, as long as they can ground and pound and not turn the ball over, he knew that the Giants offense was not going to beat them.
Wasn't that like a 12.5 point spread too? And like they barely scored 12 points.
It was like 10-9 for like 3.5 quarters.
Yeah. What did the final score end up being? 19-7?
17-9.
17-9. Yeah, so they didn't cover the spread. I think it was like 12.5 points. But yeah, I mean, like that's kind of the way I saw the game. It's obviously super disappointing for Darrell Henderson owners, and Cam Akers is going to be back now. So they're like the Tampa Bay backfield of the also NFC.
I feel like he's like one of the only coaches that doesn't lie. Like a coach will be like, "Oh, he's our workhorse," and then use a committee. He's like, "We're going to use a committee," and then they actually use a committee, and we're upset that he's using a committee. So I guess he's true to his word if there's anything there. But once Cam Akers is back in the fold, he seemed to be the starter in week 2 or week 3, whenever prior to his injury. So I think it's just gonna be a shit show back there. I wouldn't feel comfortable starting any one of these guys.
I'm gonna have to start Henderson and E-Town get down because of Eckler's death, untimely death.
Yeah, it's gonna be
a lot of funerals to attend. So
last thing, I mean, maybe not last thing, but one thing I do want to cover: Jonathan Taylor, aka Trent Richardson, aka Cam Akers, is running. He's running like he's
Stevie Wonder.
He's running look like he's got fucking fogged up goggles out there, man. I mean, he does not look good. I will say this particular game is not all on him because for some reason Frank Reich decided to pull out the fucking spinorama between him and Naheem Hines and Jordan Wilkins out there. So he's not really getting rhythm. But even before this game, I mean, like I said, I'm not a film expert, but he's running with the vision of Trent Richardson, and it's not something you want to see. I'm not billing on him yet because I still really believe in the profile, and I like the workload that he's getting, and the fact that the Colts O-line isn't really living up to par either. But how concerned are you guys about Jonathan Taylor moving forward?
I'm just real sad because week 1 he had 6 targets, 6 catches. He looked like an animal. Ever since then, he has 4 targets over the last 3 weeks. So he's not being involved in that part of the field at all. And the other thing that concerns me, I know their offensive line is good, but Phil Rivers is fucking trash. He's not going to be there very long. So the quarterback situation is really up in the air. I don't know. I'm still a fan of Jonathan Taylor because I think it might just be rookie woes and he's going to eventually become the inside runner that we think he is. But it just seems like he's not doing anything on the ground unless he's being used out in space. And the way that his running style is, it's like it doesn't really lend itself to being out in space all too much because they want to run him between the tackles. So it just doesn't, not that it doesn't look like a great fit right now, just I think we got a little bit ahead of ourselves for claiming he's like a top 5 running back this season. For Dynasty, I'm still fine with like seeing him as a top 5 or 6 pick because I do think he does have the talent to present that upside.
Yeah. I think he'll be fine going forward, to be honest. I think we did get really excited after week 1, but like for good reason. He looked fucking awesome. He's catching a lot of passes. But they've also like dominated in terms of game script. They haven't needed to throw the ball at all. And I think in games where they do, like Rivers can't get it downfield, so he's going to continue to dump it off to the running backs. But to be honest with you, like Wilkins looked better than Taylor did on Sunday. People are like, oh, why do they give him 9 carries? And I know the yards per carry didn't work, but Wilkins was like actually making guys miss a little bit, where Taylor is literally has like a magnet on his chest and he's just running into the fucking ass of the lineman in front of him. It looks so bad, but I don't know. He just needs to find a couple of holes and he's fast enough to break free. I'm sure we'll see some of those runs soon. So not looking good right now, but I would feel pretty good still if I had him in my redraft league.
Yeah. I want to touch on a few more rookies. Laviska Shenault is quietly having a very Deebo Samuel-esque rookie year.
Yeah.
And I don't know where I have him among my rookie receivers this year, but I think I'd have to have him like 5 or 6. I mean, the versatility that he's shown and the fact that he's being used as heavily as he is in this offense, despite being hurt a lot of the offseason because he showed up to the combine in an MC Hammer shirt, tore both his hamstrings straight off the bone. His core got like surgery and shit like that. The way that he's looking on the field, he's a man amongst boys. And I think him and DJ Chark going forward are going to be one of the most exciting wide receiver duos to watch in the NFL.
Yeah, they're good. They're a good fucking combo. It came out and had like 90 yards, I think, on they play on Thursday or they played on Sunday?
No, they played yesterday against the Bengals.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, Laviska looked really good. I mean, dude, a lot of these rookie wide receivers are looking fantastic. CeeDee Lamb. I mean,
Justin Jefferson.
Jerry Jeudy, like all of them are looking fucking really, 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 really good. There's a strong class coming in. There's a reason why there were so many of them. Even like Brandon Ayuk is looking good in his weird fucking Deebo Samuel-esque role. We'll have to see how that works out going forward because Deebo's finally back. And I believe he out-targeted or out-produced him through the air in this game. But, yeah, definitely not disappointing given the talent and the draft capital of these receivers.
Yep. It's a beautiful thing, man. I mean, normally you say fade rookie wide receivers, but the fact that all of them, I mean, at least all the ones that matter are already producing like this early on in the season gives me a lot of hope moving forward. I mean, when you perform early and you produce early, like chances are that bodes well for you going forward. So yeah, I love all of them, like Laviska, T. Higgins. I mean, damn shame that Jalen Reagor got injured because he was looking pretty good as well. Although maybe not damn shame because that whole team looks like fucking ass. But you know,
I think Reagor and Ruggs both would have done really well. Like Ruggs looked real hot in the first half of the first game. Then he injured his knee and he hasn't been 100% since. And Reagor looked really good the first game, catching that deep pass. And if this offense could have held up for more than like 8 seconds at a time, he would have been fine too. So this could have been legitimately like 8 rookie wide receivers that have really impressed.
Yeah, and I think one guy that we talked about briefly, Justin Jefferson, going forward for redraft leagues, I don't think it's too brash to say he's like almost a wide receiver too, week in and week out. You look at Minnesota's schedule, Mike, I know you touched on it in the preseason before anything even got hashed out. And you were saying how they're facing really highly efficient offenses. Minnesota's defense sucks. Minnesota's defense does suck. And you look at the defenses that Justin Jefferson is going to be facing over these next 2 weeks alone, Seattle and Atlanta, they're going to be throwing the ball. I know Kirk Cousins hasn't thrown for 30 attempts yet this season. He's going to have to throw 35, 40 times to try to keep up with these other offenses, especially with their defense sucking. Those would be great outputs for him. And then Green Bay, Detroit, Chicago's a little tough. And then Dallas, Carolina, Jacksonville, Tampa Bay all in a row. He seems to be – he's already broken out, but just like a legitimate breakout candidate. If he happens to be on your waiver wire at all, spend all you can to get him because he's legit. He's doing what A.J. Brown did in his rookie year on a very similarly low volume passing offense. But what he does after the catch and the fact that he's being used deep down the field as well means that he doesn't necessarily need 150 targets to be able to produce top 24 numbers.
I already talked about Justin Jefferson on the Market Watch Monday, so I don't have too much more to add. Are there any other games that we want to cover?
Mike Gesicki sucks. Figured that out again.
Yeah.
We don't
Mike
say
Gesicki
sucks here. We say stinks.
Mike
My bad.
Gesicki continues to do Mike Gesicki things in an absolute smash spot. I think he had one catch for 15 yards.
Goat.
Yeah, goated.
Are there any tight ends that have surprised us this year? Like, what's
Robert
the tight end
Tonyan.
landscape even look like?
Jonnu Smith, I guess.
Jonnu Smith has been incredible.
I feel like the Titans haven't played football in like 4 weeks. To be honest. Like, it feels like they had the one COVID postponed, and like I don't know what's going on with them anymore. Dalton Schultz has looked great in Blake Jarwin's absence.
Yeah.
Mo Alley Cox is like just catching touchdowns on like one target a game. He somehow comes away with 2 touchdowns.
Slow Mo.
No fucking sense. I
Chris
feel like
Herndon might
T.J.
be the
Hawkinson
worst
has
tight end in the
low key been. What's up?
I think Chris Herndon's probably the worst tight end in the league. Like that's
Dude,
safe to
what
say
the
at this
fuck
point.
has happened to Chris Herndon? Why does he fucking stink?
I don't know. Ryan Griffin is better than him at this point.
Maybe the Jets knew something we didn't. They've been playing the long. They gave Griffin the extension. They've been playing the long game with us.
How about
I
Logan
respect-
Thomas too? He's like Twitter's favorite tight end because he runs a million routes, but he's trying to catch passes from Dwayne Haskins. I think in one of the waiver write-ups, I said he's a bigger decoy for fantasy players than he is on the actual field because he just doesn't do anything you want him to do week after week.
Dude,
facts.
Terry McLaurin though, man, this kid is a baller. I benched him because I was dumb and I thought that his injury would impact him and Marlon Humphrey would cover him. Wrong. Nobody's covering Terry McLaurin. He's going to be a beast. You never bench him. You never bench him anymore after this, and I will never bench him anymore after this. But yeah, he is. You know, dude. When we said fade wide receivers early on in the offseason, like this is why. What did you get? You get Ridley. You had Metcalf.
Dude, it
You
was
have
literally
McLaurin, you have Chark.
Thielen, Robinson, Chark, McLaurin. Yeah, dude, Lockett, Metcalf, like all those round 4, 5, 6 wide receivers are just smashing right now.
I mean, we're catching L's everywhere else, but I mean the one W zone is the mid round wide receivers. I mean that zone is smashing quite hard. In our what to do dynasty league, I think I have like a bunch of them. I have DK and I have McLaurin and I have AJ Brown and I have Justin Jefferson. And I have T. Higgins.
Right.
You guys are basically fucked for the next
Good
5
for you.
years. Once my
I
team
think I was like low key gonna offer you George Kittle for like 2 of those guys.
Oh,
Like
shit.
last week. I take that back though.
Like I have your wide receiver stable, but like 7 years older a piece. Like Keenan Allen, Adam Thielen, Cooper Kupp, Robert Woods. Like it looks nice, but in 2 years it's gonna look real shitty for me.
Yeah, they're like the college graduates showing up to the high school party at this point. It's ugly.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it.
That's it, you motherfuckers.
That's all we got for this week's film
breakdown. Make sure that you review this on podcast. If you are listening via your ear holes, make sure you leave a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you are new, both this channel you're watching on and if you are watching on the Bunk Bed Breakdowns channel. All of that, just fucking do it. All the links will be down in the description. Gentlemen, wait on some more shit.